Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Adora Stephanie Modo, and I'm your host on the Miss D Show. So today, I want to be talking about inferiority complex. What is inferiority complex? How does that affect you? How do you know if you have it or someone around you has it? How does that affect you or your relationships with people long term, and ways you can come out of it? So let's first start off with a definition. What is inferiority complex? Inferiority complex had been defined by an American Psychological Association, APA. Well, the American Psychological Association, APA, as a basic feeling of inadequacy and insecurity, deriving from actual or imagined physical or psychological deficiency. Okay, now let me summarize this and try and redefine this in the layman's terms. Inferiority complex is pretty much, a feeling of inadequacy, as it says. It's a feeling of insufficiency, insecurity, something, you're unsure of how you feel, something you feel like you don't measure up to a standard, something that probably has been inbuilt or you just had to deal with over time. Inferiority is actually, most times, like I said, it's between insecurity and insufficiency. And most times, these feelings could be occasional or situational. Now, what are we talking about? Truth is, as human beings, you have every right, or it's natural rather, to always feel inadequate once in a while. It's just human nature, Sometimes you feel like, you didn't pass an exam and other people did, and you're thinking, am I that dumb? Didn't I read hard enough? Why am I not as smart as the next girl? What did she do that I didn't do right? We tend to try to compare once in a while, and that's why I say they could be occasional or situational. Cases of where I just gave an example, when you feel like you didn't do as well as other people, or something just goes wrong when you're in a group, like you try to get a job or you went for a job interview and someone else got it and you didn't, and then you're thinking, oh shoot, what didn't I do right? Why didn't they pick me? What is it about me? Is it my hair? Is it my color? There are examples that could lead you to feeling a bit insecure or inadequate or insufficient. Situation would be something that is, a situation you find yourself in. I will give a typical example. Some people feel like because they're not financially capable, they feel insufficient. They feel like they can't go to certain restaurants. They can't be found in certain circles. They can't mingle with certain kind of people because they don't feel adequate enough. They don't feel capable enough. They don't feel like they measure up to that space. And because of their situation in life, they just don't feel comfortable being around that space. And that affects their complex. Same thing about bodies. Some people who are not confident in their body structure or how they look or their physical, they just feel like they can't meet up or they don't dress as good as certain people. This is a personal situation. Why the occasions would I give an example, like a job offer or an exam or something that you did with a couple of people and you just feel like for some weird reason you didn't get it. Now, the truth is, as humans, like I said, it's okay to have these feelings every now and then, basically when a situation arises. However, how do you deal with it is the question. How long do you brood over that situation? How do you handle it? Do you feel like, okay, I'm going to go into my shell because I don't fit in? Or I'm just going to use it as a learning block and figure out, why didn't I get it? What did I do wrong? How can I be better? I'm not that terrible. Maybe it wasn't my time. Maybe I can work harder. Maybe God wants something different from me. There are different ways to look at these situations. Pick yourself up and keep it moving. That's how to deal with such things. But then where the problem is when it becomes your lifelong, character. When you let your complex or your inadequacy or your feeling of inadequacy, because I don't think anybody's inadequate, overwhelm or take over your decisions in life and affect you from making progress or taking risk or just being who you're meant to be. Now, the real question is, how can you tell when someone actually has like an inferiority complex, First things first, inferiority complex naturally makes you feel jealous of other people. That's number one. Like I said, when you feel occasional insecurity or inadequacy, it's fine. For instance, I was talking to my brother one time. We were talking about how we react when we see other people post like exciting things on Instagram or something. So for instance, you're scrolling and you see your friend going on a romantic vacation or someone you follow with his, better half, and they're having an amazing time and taking pictures, do you feel jealous? Like, gosh, look at them. I just hate this girl. I just hate this guy. What are they even feeling like? Why is she even taking pictures? Like, look at her legs. Why is her boobs? Instead of feeling that way, you're thinking, gosh, when am I going to go on my own vacation with my boo? When am I going to go with my friends? This place is so pretty. I'm going to buzz her and ask her where they are exactly. And I'm going to look at tickets and see how I can plan to go on this trip. These are two ways to react to a certain situation. Now, those of us, because I'm like that look at these things and think, gosh, I'd like to be like that. Someone once called me jack of all trades. I want to do everything, because I see things and I aim to be like them. Now, this is not competition. This is actually trying to make me a better person. This is something that pushes me to think, okay, well, I can do this too. She did it. I can. And it tries to make me work harder rather than beef the next person who's done it and gotten there. Instead, I want to do it myself also and get there as well. However, someone else looks at it, and because they naturally feel like they are not there, they're not thinking of how can I get there. They're rather thinking of how dare she be there and I'm not. Why is she even there? What makes her better than me? What's she feeling like because she's there? That's someone who has a complex, a deep inferiority complex, and you need to figure out how to get out of that zone, because it's not a good place to be. Secondly, people who have complex always make people will always put people down in order to build themselves up. So you always have to talk down on someone. You always have to find something wrong with someone's dress, someone's hair, someone's body, just to make yourself feel better. Or, trash talk someone in front of other people so you can be better. That's different from gossiping. Let me say this. That's different from gisting about somebody. That's different from, a statement of fact that girl's shoe looks horrible. You know what I mean? It's different from always trying to put people down and just saying horrible things because, you want to say, well, I'm better than her or I'm better than him. No. I mean, you can be better than them, or him or her. That may be a statement of fact. But the question is, how are you trying to help that person be better rather than just always making them feel like they're less of you and you're always better? Or they make a comment like, ooh, this hair will look nice on me. No, it wouldn't. With that your color and that your black skin. I beg. It's not for people like you. You don't do that. That's you putting someone else down. And who told you so people like you because you're light-skinned or you're, slimmer? That person has a complex. People with inferiority complex always blame others for things which, they should take responsibility for. You do something doesn't go right, you don't want to take responsibility, you have to find, oh, well, this happened because she said this happened because you did this, and that's why we ended up like this. You did this, and that's why I'm like this. You did this because and that's why I'm behaving like this towards you. Always looking for someone else to blame for your own shit. It doesn't make any sense. Look inwards, okay? Sometimes it's because of what you did, okay? One of the major signs as well to look out for, more of the major signs, they are constantly focusing on thoughts that are upsetting. Why are you constantly worried about your weight? Why are you constantly worried about what people are saying about your body? Why are you constantly worried about whether people are looking at you as a poor girl or a poor guy, or whether you can afford to drive a Range Rover or a Mercedes, or you always think people are looking down on you because what you don't eat with chopsticks? Stop wallowing in self-misery. Stop wallowing in what you think people are looking at you and complaining about, and work hard to be what you want to be, your own standards. And if you think what they're talking about is a good standard, then work hard to be that standard, but don't wallow in that misery or thought. They're constantly shutting down out of shame, out of guilt, embarrassment, or some form of, some inward sense of defeat. Like you feel like, I give up. I just can't be as pretty as her. Like, look at my friend Chantel. She's so pretty. Look at Adora. She's so light-skinned and flawless. She doesn't put enough effort and she glows. Oh, look at Ima. He always looks like this. Oh, look at Jason. He's driving a Benz. He has a good car, amazing wife. Why me? Oh, there's nothing I can do to be like that. And then you just give up. You give up on life. You give up on everything. Do you realize how many times I've been told that, oh, I'm too fat and, no one's going to end up with me, or I can't pull off an outfit, or, there are so many times when I used to go to the amusement parks abroad, I couldn't fit into a lot of the rides because the seatbelt would go around. It's funny now, but it's a fact. I didn't go and beat myself up. I didn't go into a shell. I didn't go like, oh my God, I'm too fat, I'm going to die. No, I didn't. And that's where you shouldn't go to. Don't. So let me tell you, let me tell you, if you don't like your body or how you look, you can do something about it if you don't like it. And also, if you're having health issues based on your body, your size, whether you're too skinny or you're too fat, you can work hard at losing weight. You can work hard at adding weight, whatever it is. If you don't like your color, people are bleaching every day. If that's something that you're paranoid about, if that's something that you have a complex over, well, do you? I mean, go do what your people do. Wash your skin, bleach, name it. And get that confidence that you want to look lighter. If you don't like how your body looks, there are plastic surgeons everywhere now in the world, in Nigeria. Get some money and go pay for your body to be done. My point is, don't live in defeat. Don't hide in a container and just feel like you can't measure up to the world. You can measure up to everybody around you because you're not their body type, their complexion, you're not as smart as them, you don't have great job like them. No. That is never the way to think about life. You need to put in effort to be what you want to be, or just be happy as you are. And don't envy those who are there because they worked hard at being there, or they're just lucky to be there. And maybe your fate is different, but you can also be happy wherever you are. They never want to go out, They always like, oh, I don't feel like going. I don't want to be there. I don't really like those people. You always have an excuse. Why? Because you feel like you don't measure up. So, for instance, you never like to go for weddings, and you hear people say, oh, I'm just not a wedding person. Sometimes it's not true. It's just because they just feel like they don't fit in. They don't have a nice outfit. They wear a dress. They don't look as good as the other girls who go there look. We're made social beings. We're meant to interact. We love humans. We're not animals or furnitures, So when you intentionally just try to start shutting out, yes, I know some personalities, some people are not introverts, rather not extroverts. But the truth is, when someone is constantly avoiding being around a certain circle, then they probably just feel like they don't measure up. I know that you can choose not to be around a certain circle because you don't like how those people talk, or they're not your kind of people, like you don't have the kind of conversations they have. That's understandable. But when you intentionally are not there, you alone know this one. You know why you're avoiding being in that circle. Maybe just think, oh, those girls are light-skinned and pretty. Have you seen their shoes, their bags, their dresses? Me, I cannot compete. Me, I cannot come and kill myself, Yeah, that's a problem when you feel like you don't measure up. You don't want to go certain places because you feel like you don't look as good as the people who are there. Nobody's going to talk to you. You go out and no guy says hello to you. It's a complex, and you shouldn't feel that way. You are superior and not inferior. So make yourself shine. They always tend to, like I said, withdraw from people because they feel like they don't measure up. They keep demeaning others as a way to transfer their feelings of isolation and failure. Like I said, they're always putting people down to make yourself feel better. They are extremely sensitive to both compliments and criticism, so they take everything overdrive. This dress is going to make you look a bit too skinny. Hey! So because I'm not slim, if you wear this kind of dress, your whole arms, it's not for fat people. See, every comment, people call me Ada Blunt or Ada the Blunt. I'm sorry. Sometimes my sister says I say really hurtful things without thinking of how it affects others. I'm sorry if I do that or if I've done that to you. But the reality of life is, the truth is the truth, When people tell me, oh, you're fat, I'm like, yes, I am, Or someone says, look for that fat, light-skinned lady when you go in. And the person beside me is like, why would she even address you as fat? I'm like, but I'm fat now. I don't understand. How else would they describe me or differentiate me from everybody else in the room? I don't take this kind of things personal. Fat is not an insult. It's a statement of facts. If you're slim, you're slim. If you're plumpy, you're plumpy. If you're fat, you're fat. Big deal. I'm fat and I'm happy being fat. But the thing is, I don't go around transferring that anger or that bitterness to anybody else because I feel like I don't fit in, or I'm too fat, or it's you don't have to be too sensitive is what I'm trying to say to certain things. Criticisms, yes, you can defend yourself, you can argue, but we all know those real truths inside when we think about it, when no one else is in the room. And how you react the next day or how you react to those things later on tells whether you've taken it in, you've absorbed it, and you're working at it, or whether just transferring that aggression. Where they're always, this one is very important, they're always in invisible competition with the whole world. Like, why do you think we're all competing? I don't even know you, or I don't know we're competing, but you constantly feel like you're competing with me. So she come, I'm gonna say you come out in a really nice dress, and then someone is going like, what's she always feeling like? Now she has worn this one again, as if no, she's the only one with fine body. Or you look at this girl that gets engaged on Instagram, what's she feeling like now that she's going to engage that be? Like the rest of us cannot be engaged. Or she's having a baby. Or like all of us cannot have a baby. Every day, man, my boo, my men's. Why is she always flaunting like those that don't have men? It's not a competition. People have told me a lot of times, oh, you're very public, everything about your life is on social media, you need to hide things a little bit, there's so many wicked people out there. And I'm just like, I'm not in competition with anybody. I put out things on social media because I feel like putting them out. I'm happy, I'm excited, I make a new dress, I want everyone to see my new outfit, my new hair, I'm dancing, I want everybody to see me dancing. I'm not trying to show off to anybody. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm only in competition with myself of yesterday. But when you constantly feel like you're competing with the next person. She bought a Bentley, me, so I want to go and buy my Range Rover and post it. No, do it because you're doing it, because it's you and not because you're trying to compete with anybody. So now that being said, let me come to the real matter of this talk. I'm sorry I've taken how many minutes and I haven't gotten to the point, but that's the point actually. I'm trying to get you guys to know what inferiority complex is like and how you can identify it. Now, where the issue is when you try to end up with someone that has inferiority complex. Let me tell you this firsthand. It is a killer. Recently, I've been having a conversation with a couple of people and something hits. Like 2-3 people have said the same sentence to me that says, when you end up with someone with inferiority complex, trust me, most times it doesn't get better. It only gets worse. And when the complex keeps building, inferiority complex is something that grows from a complex to hatred. In the beginning, it's like, oh, I'm trying to level up. Well, you do something, it's like a competition. Like I said, they're always like, oh, I'm not as good as her. Well, she always feeling like she's better than me. Before you know it, that thing becomes bitterness. It becomes hatred for you. It's such a thin line, a very thin line between going from having a complex to hating the person that you have a complex about, And when you're in a relationship or in a partnership or in a marriage with someone who has a complex, it's only a matter of time that they start to hate you, and the hatred gets deeper and deeper. And my dear, sometimes you might never come out of it. These things can lead to you being chopped up, like my sister would say, put in the freezer, or being killed. It's very scary how many people have lost their lives to partners who just had complex issues. Little things that could have been avoided in the beginning. You don't want to be with anyone who has complex issues. That's something I should have learned a long time ago, because I always had the mindset of, oh, well, this person is only going through this momentarily. This is only a situation. It's not their fault. They didn't plan to have this kind of life. And, as they call me, my family, Mama or Mother Teresa, I'm always thinking of how to help. How can I help? How can I support? I always feel like, if I can do A, B, C to someone, the person might not have such a terrible complex anymore, or they might be more confident or comfortable and, not feel like they're in competition. It's a lie. If you like, bring Jesus down. Lie on the floor for them to step over you. Empty your bank account to these people. A complex is a complex. And even when they get more comfortable, it gets worse. If someone who doesn't have much or who doesn't have such a bad complex isn't even humble and secure, they're only going to get worse when they get more stable in whatever way they're insecure about. Like when they lose weight, when they get more money, it gets worse. They need to sort that complex issue first before you can try and be with someone like that. So really what I'm trying to say to anybody out there is, if you're dating anyone or with anyone and you can tell that they have a bit of a complex issue, I think you should end that relationship first. I think you should give them space and time to try and work or get over that complex issue and be sure they're really over it before you put your life on the line, because I don't want to read about you on Instablog. That's the moral of the story. I don't want to read about you on Instablog. On that note, I really wish everybody can try and assess their relationships and have healthy relationships. It's so sad the amount of divorce cases we hear about every day now, the amount of broken relationships, broken engagements. This generation, we are just not patient. You people do not have patience. You people do not have, in fact, your level of tolerance is minus. Oh. Can we chill a little bit? Everyone is always, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I can't take it. You can and you will. Calm down. Be calming down. We need to relax. We need to try and find the right partners. Make your partner, your spouse, your friend. There's nothing as beautiful as marrying your friend. Don't marry for money. Rich man's pikin, poor man's pikin, fine girl, small waist, yellow, agbani, went to school in London. Marry someone you can crack jokes with and look in your most ugliest state and not feel ashamed. On that note, I love you. Until I come your way again, bye and stay blessed. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel. Follow me, send me topics, send me things you're thinking about, tell me things. Make comments about topics I talk about. Let's talk. I'm not a bundle of knowledge. I'm not a fountain of knowledge. I just talk about things I feel from my own perspective, and it'll be good and nice to hear your perspective as well. So on that note, please leave a comment, share this page, like it, comment. Let's grow this ministry. One day I will be like Oprah Winfrey. Until then, good night everyone, and I love you all. Mwah.